What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor, and today we are going to be speaking about Lucid Motors because their earnings are coming out after hours today, baby. Hopefully you guys are going to see this video before it goes out so that you have a good idea of what to expect. You have a good idea of what the market is expecting. We're going to be taking a look at where Lucid Motors stock is today price wise, because it's at a very interesting long-term price point. There's been some interesting price action today as well, and I think that we could be in for some quite considerable moves. You'll see that today, as of recording this, the market's only open about half an hour. They're up about 3%. EV is having a really good day in general, despite the fact it was doing quite poorly pre-market, but that's a topic for another video. There's a few reasons, particularly for Chinese EV companies to do well this week. I'll cover that relatively soon, but Lucid Motors currently sitting right at around $27 a share, up considerably from the 21 it had hit only not even a couple of days ago, down massively from the recent highs of around the $45 region. What can we expect to happen next? Are these earnings going to propel us back up into the high 30s or even 40s, or can we expect to trickle all the way back down to those low 20s once again, which nobody really wants to see happen? So that's what we are going to be speaking about today, my friends. What do we expect Lucid to do? What do we need to keep our eyes out for on these earnings? So right before we do get into the juicy information, before we get into what we expect to happen, what I personally am going to be looking out for, things that don't resolve just around EPS, things that don't just resolve around that, the exciting catalyst that could potentially propel this company forward that you need to look for. And I please ask you to hit that juicy like button. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you are hoping to see from Lucid in their earnings tonight. And please, my friend, if you are indeed new around here, hit that juicy red subscribe button. Also, if you would like some free money from Moomoo, you can get up to 5 free stocks when you sign up, open an account, and deposit $100. Each of those stocks can be worth up to $3,500 each. Free real-time level 2 data for US stocks and $0 commissions for US residents trading US stocks. I mean, it's a no-brainer. It is literal free money, my friends. Okay, so with that being said, let's speak about Lucid. Now, I think one thing that really should be understood, and one thing that should be at the forefront of your head as you go into this earnings, if you're a long-term investor or if you're a trader, is this simple line right here. Lucid Motors does not expect to be profitable until 2023 or 2024. That is something that every single Lucid Motors investor should be aware of. We don't expect to be profitable this year. Never mind this quarter. That is not on the tables. There is zero chance of it happening. That should not be a surprise, and it should not be a particularly important metric for the remainder of this year, especially for this quarter, okay? So many investors are not exactly looking for a beat, but the earnings call is where the awesome information is going to be. The earnings call is where we find out about the vehicles, we find out about reservations, we find out about exciting new updates for the company. We get to hear from the management. We get real-time updates. We can hear more info about the Project Gravity, 2022 reservations, and expansion news, okay? Now, we're going to come back to all of that just a little bit later. But what are the actual expectations? Because particularly when it comes to Wall Street, these are important, and these things will move the company's price in the short term, okay? It really is that simple. Despite the fact, in my opinion, they don't really matter as much as they would with a more established company, and I know a lot of people will agree with me, we still have to be aware of them. So, Lucid Motors needs to report a loss per share below 30 cents to beat market expectations for Q4. And again, this is something that I don't particularly care about, but Wall Street really does. And if we see a worse loss than expected here, it will bring the stock's price down, regardless of any good news, regardless of any, excitement in regards to reservations, new vehicles, updates, European updates, etc, etc. So we got to keep our eyes out. Last quarter, the company failed to beat expectations, and you can see what happened if we go back and have a look at the chart here. Our last earnings were here. We were on this nice run-up. Boom. We did drop a little bit in the... Not a little bit. We dropped an awful lot in the preceding days. Now, this was due to more than just earnings. This was still an awful lot of hype, let's say, you know what I mean? But you can see that the market didn't react well to it one way or the other. Lucid is expected to report 59.87 million in revenue, the highest expectation being 83 million and the lowest 36.74. So again, not huge numbers, but still numbers that we need to see. We need it to be in these realms just to show that, they're doing what they are saying they are doing, and they're keeping up to date with the time frames they have set out for themselves long ago. Or else, time frames are going to change, people are going to lose confidence. It makes sense. Analysts are also waiting to find out the number of vehicles Lucid delivered in 2021, okay? This is something to keep your ears out. Just everything. Listen for this, okay? Whenever this is spoke about on the call in the after hours, you're going to see some huge movement, okay? If these numbers are good, people will buy. If they're bad, people will sell. It really is going to be that simple. And an update on the company's reservations for 2022 could also be a major catalyst for the stock. So again, these things, to me personally, are going to be more important than EPS, or more importantly, loss per share and revenue. These things make a lot more sense to be focused on right now. In mid-November 21, Lucid reported it had received 17,000 reservations. The company's plans were to manufacture 520 units in 2021. We need to see what happened here. We need to see, again, if they're sticking to their word, if they're sticking with their own time frame, and to increase production to 20,000 in 2022 and 49,000 in 2023. Again, we need them to instill confidence into the investors and explain exactly how this thought process is being played out right now. We need to know if this prediction is coming true, if they're able to stick to these guidelines that have prior been set. With the Lucid Air already named the 2022 Motor Trend Car of the Year, I'm sure a lot of you guys will remember this, management expects significant demand for the model. As the production at the company's Arizona plant ramps up, Lucid should stay on track to meet its goals. And that is the general expectation, the general consensus between investors right now. So again, we just need that confidence reinstated. We need the management to come out strong, come out confident, come out delivering. That's what we want. However, the company doesn't rule out the effects of supply chain disruptions on manufacturing growth in the short term. That goes for every EV company right now. I think at this stage, people don't hold that against the companies too strongly. And I think at this stage, that's the reason a lot of these downward moves have happened. We're pretty much all EV stocks. We see NIO there. We see Tesla. We see ChargePoint. We see pretty much all of them have that similar downward movement. A lot of that has been down to supply chain issues and the effects they have had on the businesses, simply put. So you can't particularly hold it against any one company, but I'm just trying to say that. Lucid Motors has begun producing the Grand Tourings, and they have also begun the delivering process. VIN numbers were assigned to Lucid Air GT reservation holders a couple weeks ago, and now sources say that the GTs are being delivered. That's huge news for Lucid Motors and the 2022 production numbers. Hopefully, we get an update about this again at the earnings call. And also, very importantly, Lucid has begun hiring second shift factory workers, and have also announced that they have signed on a third shift of employees. This is all for the production numbers to exceed 20,000. Lucid Motors' motto is under promise, over deliver, and if Lucid investors hear a positive earnings call, we could see a nice rebound soon. I personally think that's very true. That's what we need to be looking towards. Why are they hiring more staff? Okay, we need updates on 2020 production. We need to know exactly what happened in 2021 as well. I want to hear information about our new vehicles. I want some juicy information to come out. I want you to fill us investors with confidence, make us want to buy your stock again. It's at a very important price level, okay? As far as long-term supports go, this line I have drawn out here is pretty much one of the main ones, okay? You could try and bring it down a little bit lower, touch off these here, but you get the picture. It's around this general area, and right now we are bouncing around it. Now, some people might say this is actually a bearish sign, considering we touched above it and came back down. We will see. Off of good earnings, we break out above this long-term area of support. That could genuinely mean our next leg up. If we break through this short-term area of resistance right up around the 29 to 29.50 range, then we could see ourselves move back up into the mid-30s relatively quickly. Lucid always has been a volatile company. It's going to remain that way. And especially around earning times, you have to expect that. Now, if we go and look at the daily chart, you will see that the RSI is at about 40. So there's nothing crazy going on here. It's not incredibly oversold. Potentially, you could argue a little bit oversold, but it's not set up for anything crazy to happen anytime soon. The volume today is higher than usual. We have to put it that way. The average volume, not the highest it's historically been. But what we do see is 3 green days approaching as earnings are approaching, okay? You would think that's a relatively promising sign for investor sentiment. So do remember, guys, this is happening after market close tonight. I will just be holding all of my shares regardless. If I see any huge dips, you'll bet that I'll start considering adding more for the first time in a long time. I haven't bought any Lucid since we bought them initially down here at the 11s. But yeah, I'll keep my eyes peeled, you know what I mean? I don't plan on selling a single share, pretty much regardless of what happens, but we will keep our eyes peeled, baby. If you watch this video all the way to the end, you are a true legend. I hope I was able to provide you some value, give you an idea of what to look out for in these earnings if you do plan on listening to the earnings call, and if not, for when you catch up tomorrow. If you did enjoy, could I please ask you to hit that like button, drop me that comment down below, subscribe if you're new around here, my friend. All of that helps me out so much. And remember, if you'd like those free stocks from Moomoo, hit that first link in the description or in the pinned comment. Get some free money, baby. Anyway, guys, I'm going to see you all for another video very soon. I hope you have a beautiful, blessed day. Peace.